Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about nonverbal communication and its importance. Nonverbal communication is when we send signals, when we communicate with someone or many people by using nonverbal cues. So, in order to establish a good foundation, to establish a relationship with someone, we must communicate with them. Whether we use our words or we give them a call, that's how we're communicating with someone. But we also have nonverbal communication. And there's many types of nonverbal communication, and we use those in our everyday lives. Well, some of the types consist of facial expressions, body movement, postures, gestures, eye contact. All of that sort is a type of body language or nonverbal communication. And we use them in our everyday lives, whether we know it, whether we're aware of it or not. For example, if I'm listening to the teacher, I'm going to make eye contact with them. I'm going to focus on them and look at them, look up at them. If I'm not interested in what they're saying, I might, just slouch like this and maybe look at something else. Maybe just get distracted and look around the room like so. In the moment, you might be aware or you may not be aware, but you're using nonverbal communication. And your teacher can see it. Without you telling them whether you're interested in what they're saying or not, they're very much aware. When we're not confident or when we're not sure about ourselves, we might slouch down and maybe, not lift our hands when we're asked a question. We might just, lift it up here because I'm not sure if the answer is correct and I don't want to risk it because I'm not confident. And you might go like this. But when one is confident and they're sure whether their answer be right or wrong, but they're sure of themselves, they'll raise their hand up with a posture, looking up straight, and make eye contact with the teacher. I'm sure we all have been a victim of this when we don't know the answer to the question that the teacher is asking. So instead, we kind of just look around or look down like so because we don't want to get called on. I'm sure many of us have experienced that. And that's showing the teacher that, I don't know the answer, even though we're not actually saying, hey, teacher, I don't know the answer. Many times, nonverbal communication is how we see what one actually feels or what one is actually trying to say. An example is a politician. They might be saying something or claiming that something is false or correct, but their body language says something else. For example, they could be answering to something that someone is claiming about them that may be true, but they don't want everyone to know it's true because it might not be something positive. In that situation, they might try to act confident, but their facial expressions can tell a whole different story. Their facial expressions can definitely tell us whether they're lying or they're not. So it's very important to watch facial expressions, to watch your gestures, the kind of things you're doing, the kind of nonverbal communication that you're expressing in order to give the correct message that you want to send to someone. In order to establish a relationship, you need to be very much aware of what facial expressions, what posture you're using, what nonverbal communication and body movements you're using in order to establish and build that relationship. Because if you're using the incorrect body movements, the incorrect facial expressions and so forth, you're going to give the wrong message and therefore you're going to destroy that relationship that you're trying to build. So once again, it's important to focus on nonverbal communication and use it correctly, the right way, in order to build relationships and earn the respect you want to learn. For example, when one is speaking, giving a speech of some sort, you want to make sure that you have eye contact with them. You want to make sure that you're standing, you have a good posture, and that you're giving you're showing them and you're signaling to them that, I am paying attention to what you're saying and I'm interested. Because otherwise, they're going to know that you're not listening to them and it looks bad. That's why we always want to be aware of our facial expressions, because sometimes even though we might be bored or we might not want to hear the speech, we want to give off the impression that we're listening because it can come off as disrespectful. So Let's focus on nonverbal communication and make sure that we use it the correct way so that we give off the message that we want to give in a positive way.